Hello there, my name's Aitken from Masters Academy, Plymouth. Today we're doing a video for the Warrior Collective on killing the kicker. Okay, I'll be doing this with my assistant today, who will be Gary Fields. So, basically what's going to be happening today, you don't have to put your hands up just yet. Today what's going to be just happening is we're going to be on about when we're against someone who is not necessarily a big kicker, but definitely a confident kicker, someone who likes to throw a lot of legs. And we're going to particularly focus on the roundhouse kicks. That tends to be the most common kick in either kickboxing or Thai boxing or even K1. So we're going to start off really simple. Gary, just throw the roundhouse towards my leg. I'm not going to check it or anything. Okay, so this is probably one of your most common kicks right here. Okay, now your most basic defense form right here, we're not going to spend too much time on it, is obviously your check. Okay, and make sure you check well. So as that roundhouse kick comes in, I'm going to check it right here, and then I'm going to defend again. Making sure, just typical, really typical, simple flaws that go wrong on the check is making sure the placement of this elbow. Okay, you want to come up nice and high, but obviously you want to make sure you flare that elbow. Again, this is one of those things where I definitely learned the hard way through being a very eager checker, and ended up meeting my elbow and knee together, and it does hurt quite a lot. So I definitely advise not doing that. Okay, so super basic, simple check right here, and check on the outside just here. Okay. Now your next sort of form of defense, okay, if it comes low, that'd be great. I definitely wouldn't advise scooping your hand any lower than that. But if a kick definitely does come to your body, you can catch it, okay, you can still check it. That's always an option. But if you do see it coming and you have an opportunity to go for a catch, it brings up kind of a new sequence of opportunities which you can take advantage of. Okay, we'll start off with a basic catch. So as that roundhouse kick comes in, we'll do an overarm catch. I step away first, and this is really important, okay? You can stay on line and just take it, but you know, if it's a good kick and if your partner's a strong kicker, you're going to take a bit of damage on your ribs, so I'd definitely not suggest standing still, definitely while receiving the kick. So try, and if you can, if it's an inch or so is better than not an inch. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to step away as that kick comes in, and I'm going to catch that kick just under my arm right here, okay? Some people prefer to check before the kick comes up, so they check it with their hand and then catch. So check and catch, but it's entirely up to you. At the end of the day, if you're walking away from it, you're kind of you're going to kill a little bit of the power anyway. Now, I'm not going to focus too much on the sweeping options from here. You know, they're fairly obvious for a lot of you guys who do know your sweeps from here. I'm going to throw your roundhouse right here. Now obviously, I've got my punch to the head right here, which I would definitely use to setting up my sweeps. I've got my sweep around the front here, and I've also got my sweep around the back of my kicks to the leg. But I'm not too worried about those, I'm not going to focus on those. Because what's the most common thing that someone does when they get their leg caught is they're going to try and get straight back out of it again. So they're going to try and defend it. So usually I end up kind of, if I go from the catch real quick here, go from the catch, I usually end up in this position just back here, okay? And this is fairly common, definitely, okay? But this is like a throw-through opportunity. You see a lot in Thai boxing where they'll throw it through, and then from here I've got a couple options. Definitely kick towards the open side, not the back side, and I've also got this hand right here. Okay, so we're going to go through that one just in a little bit more depth. So Gary's going to throw a kick towards my midsection, I do my overarm catch and I check, and I keep this hand up because Gary's going to still be trying to fight me off. He's still got one hand, so I want to keep this hand nice and high. I don't want anything taking my mind off what I'm trying to do. Now imagine that he's trying to fight me off obviously, and he's got his leg out to this point. So a simple way of training it is when you catch, just take a step back and bring it out just here. Okay, and from here all I'm going to do is I'm going to just throw it offline, throw it towards this side right here, and then I'm going to return with either a roundhouse kick or a right punch. Okay? So one more time, I catch, he's fought out, I've got back here, throw it, roundhouse kick or right punch, and be careful about how far you throw it. If I throw it all the way around, he's going to end up with his back completely facing towards me. In a scenario like that, if it's a competitive scenario, the referee could end up saying, whoa, he's completely turned with his back turned, break it up, and then you've lost your advantage from there. So be careful, you don't want to throw too hard, but you definitely want to pay attention to how you throw that kick. Okay, so one more time. Last one, I go for the overarm catch right here, I throw and I'll retaliate with that roundhouse kick, that punch, or there's a sneaky little sweep you can get around the back here if you're very quick with it. So those are kind of your options from there. So let's just go for a quick recap. We've got a basic check, simple points of the check. As the kick comes out, make sure the elbow is slightly flared. Don't stick the elbow directly on top of the leg because you'll harm yourself a little bit. Next one is into the body, go into the body. He's fought out of it a little bit, I throw it, and I've got my option for that roundhouse kick or for that punch. or I can kind of carry on stepping around to this rear side here, but if I carry on, I've got to be aware of spin kicks, spin elbows, spin back fists and things like that, okay? So you don't want to kind of pay too much attention to run into that other shoulder, because you will run into another kind of weapon. Okay, so those are our first couple of basic options. The next one is what happens when he kicks high. Now, I'm going to go through I'm not going to go through any kind of funky reactions or, catches and things like that to kick high. Usually when it comes to kicking the head, I like to keep it fairly simple. And the reasons for this is if you get it wrong, then it can definitely result in a knockout. So I prefer to go for a simple but strong form of defense. You'd be surprised as well. In the lighter weights, definitely in the heavy weights, it's going to be a little bit different. But definitely in my weight category and things like that, one thing that I found is just a strong cover tends to be fairly good. Now with a cover, some people say go in, some people say go out. Going into the weapon definitely has its perks just a little bit. The reason why is because Gary's kick is designed to be most powerful where I am. So if I take myself slightly over here, it's going to be slightly less powerful. And if I take myself slightly over here, it's again going to be slightly less powerful. But going into it is again another brave thing to do. So as that roundhouse kick comes up, I'm going to keep my head high and I'm also going to crash into it before it's fully turned over. Okay? Remember, as I throw the kick towards Gary, that turnover, that little hip twist, that's when the kick's going to be most powerful. That's where it's dangerous. If you catch it just before that turnover, it can be a little bit sore in your arms. But it's definitely going to be a lot less powerful and it's definitely going to leave you with some opportunities. So he throws that roundhouse kick one more time. I hit, and this gives me a great opportunity to fire back with my right hand, my left hand, and then I can return straight afterwards in whatever manner. So you can kind of treat this as a bit of a live drill. So it's almost like 1 for 1. So Gary will throw the kick, I cover, and then I can retaliate, and then so on, and then Gary will come back to me. So one more time, we'll do it facing the other way. Gary throws that right kick, but all I'm doing with my hands is I cover and I step into it just before it turns over, which is the important part. Okay, just before it turns over, step into it, and then you can follow up. Now the exact same thing can be done on the left side. So Gary throws the left roundhouse, I go into it, and I can follow up with my left first, then my right, and I can finish up with a kick or something like that towards the end. Okay, so it's a few basic things. Let's just go for one more quick little recap. So the beginning one, he goes low, I just check, flare the elbow. So it was useful. Definitely don't pop your elbow into your own fly. One more time, goes for it, check nice and low. Next one, midsection, I catch. Let's take, for example, Gary's fought out of it. I'm going to throw, and I can return on this side, return on this side. Another quick method on that one, just real quick. When you've caught that leg, play, and you've got to this position, play with where you throw it. Now, you can throw it down, you can throw it across, but one great thing that you can do is you can actually throw it in an upwards direction. This is going to throw Gary's posture that way. So as I launch it up in that direction, it's taking his center of gravity and his posture a little bit further higher up, and definitely backwards. And then I push him into it, and then I'm going to follow up from there when he's lost his balance just a little bit. That's always probably, most definitely a great scenario to definitely follow up if you can take your partner off balance to begin with, and then you hit them. You're definitely going to give yourself a good advantage. Obviously, when someone's lost their balance, their hands are not going to be in such a great defensive position, and they're going to be a little bit more splayed and a little bit more trying to keep himself upright. So that's really important. Last option, Gary throws a right roundhouse to the head. I crush it and I step in and I follow with whatever shots I want to afterwards. And the same thing on the other leg. He comes up nice and high, crush, and follow straight up, okay? Again, personal preference from walking away or walking into it. If you walk into it, I find that you tend to crash it a little bit better. And you tend to leave your partner a little bit more open after they've thrown the kick to then follow up. If you kind of wait a little bit, sometimes the kick tends to go through and miss completely, and you kind of leave yourself a little bit set up to walk onto another technique, such as a side kick, for example. When the kick's finished right here, you can follow, you can walk straight onto that. So I mean, it's personal preference, but I definitely say play with your options again. Best bet is to start off with a live drill, so kind of go 1 for 1 with each option, and then after that, try and start putting it practically into your sparring game. So, thank you. That has been Destroying the Kick for the Warrior Collective. My name is Aitken from Masters Academy Plymouth. For more information, please visit the Warrior Collective or www.mastersacademyplymouth.co.uk. Thank you.